Kealey.
Hey, Glenn, it's Jared from New York.
Oh, hi, Jeff. How are you?
I never heard you answer the phone like that before.
Because I'm waiting for a call from iPower.
Okay. I guess
I've we have a site, and we pay for it, and they're directing the site to Alan Watts' site.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, try it.
What?
So I wrote an email today. The last time Alan Watt called me, and I'm trying to think how long ago, 6 months, maybe a year, I don't know, said, I haven't heard from you for a while. And he said, I've been in India. I said, in India? How could you go to India on your income? Last time I saw him when he came to my meeting, he had a truck with a hole, and you could put your feet through to the ground. So he said, the Sufis paid for it. I said, what? He said, yeah, the Sufis paid for my entire trip to India. The Sufis is a secret society. It's a Muslim secret society. I said, yeah. So iPower gets sold. iPower then gets bought by an Indian company. So what's happening, obviously, is they've redirected anybody who uses Kealey.net or WordSculptor.net to Alan Watts's, even though we paid for it.
Wow. So maybe I think he's like, I was discussing this with my friend, maybe like Alan's just like a gatekeeper or some type. Like maybe like just like.
Yeah, basically he's their employee. He's like David Icke, except with a website instead of books. He got books, but little books. The same thing as Icke, just on a smaller scale.
Oh man. Well, I spoke to him a little while ago, and he didn't seem like he was hiding anything, but I guess
Look, it can't happen by accident. The only people who could make the change is iPower.
Yeah, when he did that's really like that says a lot right there. But I'm just saying, like in the past when I spoke to him, I brought you up to him, and he didn't really. This is when I called his house, and he didn't really say like, I don't know, like he just said that nobody has all the answers, and I don't know that
he's wrong. He doesn't want to give all the answers.
Yeah, I noticed that when like the DVDs that he sold and stuff, like he'll tell you, and then he'll go into the, I don't know, the Kabbalah, the Ka and the Ba, the Travels of the Soul, and he would talk about it, but that's for the other talk. So I guess you got to keep spending money and keep giving donations. But then you realize, but you said the whole thing with the soul is really DNA.
Yeah.
Real.
I mean, you can't get a better explanation for DNA than what they use for the soul. It stays there with all the information after you die.
Wow, so you think he joined some type of secret?
Well, they wouldn't have paid for his trip unless there was some kind of relationship. Muammar Gaddafi used to bring people to his country and tour them around as long as they went back home and promoted Nazis.
Wow. That's kind of like surprising to me.
Yeah, and those people that he brought that he didn't want promoting, you would hear about them falling off the roof of a hotel.
I was just saying to myself like that that website with is the Kealey, you said the Kealey one was shut down, but that one's getting redirected, or was it the Canadian Institute of Political Integrity website?
The first one was called Kealey.net.
Uh-huh.
And a domain name seller out of Austin, Texas, was the place my former webmaster got the domain name, Kealey.net. All of a sudden, people couldn't access the site on iPower. So the webmaster went through the process of finding out what had happened. And the answer was that I was spamming. And I said to the guy, tell him to call me up. So the guy calls me up, and I said, what do you mean I'm spamming? He says, well, you're putting your things on other people's websites. Mm-hmm. I said, I post to my website and to 3 communities every morning. But other people are copying it and spreading it around. I can't do anything about that. I'm thankful that they do, but I can't do anything about it. He said, that's it. We can't do anything about it. You're spamming.
Huh.
So that stopped that. So I got a hold of iPower. And they said, we can't do anything unless you have the domain name. So I said, give me a domain name. So what do you want? I said, Word Sculptor. And he gave me that, paid for it. And I said, now put my website back on Word Sculptor. And he did. So instead of being Kealey.net, you had WordSculptor.net and then previous site, blah, blah, blah.
So that's on right, that was on right, that's on right now, or that's...
Yeah. That was on until yesterday. It's no longer on.
Well, I never knew about that one. The one that I used to go, I think I did know about, because the one I used to go on was the Canadian Institute, and it had a lot of archives information.
Yeah, well, try it.
Probably.
See.
Oh man, because you know what I was gonna do? I was gonna take all of those and print them all up and put them all in a book and get it binded. Oh man, that sucks.
It's
I knew it. Wow.
They are so afraid that when somebody tells it exactly how it is, mm-hmm. that they cannot allow it to be spoken. So there's this group at iPower. Their management is in Tempe, in Arizona. It's a suburb of Phoenix, and they are the ones who are in touch with the controllers in Austin, Texas. That's where most of the activity goes on, because Texas is the land of the Aztecs. Just switched the word around and called it Texas instead of Aztecs.
You know, it's funny too. Because lately there's a lot of people like circulating your stuff, and they're like, "Oh, it's big Alan Watt, Glen Kealey controversy," and just before that, you know, I would call Alan, and he would pick up and talk, but now he just keeps it off the hook. And now there's a lot of things that have been coming up, like, that get me really... I think he's scared now, like, of getting exposed or something.
Well, I mean, I posted this morning, do you access the communities, what's their name? Draco Debates.
Draco Debates?
Yeah. Smart Group 2 and CPRL.
I don't know. What are the name of those? Those are the name of groups?
Yeah. Yahoo groups.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. So you post up.
So I posted it, and I said, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Alan Watts coming on my site? Instead of my site, you're getting Alan Watts. So Draco debates, I think, belongs to the Democrats. But I'm the only one that posts most of the time because nobody goes there. I think they set it up just so that they could receive my posts and then recuperate it from there without being seen coming to my site. So I put a thing this morning, Sufi's eye power and Alan Watt connection.
Oh, man. It's so... I don't think...
Heath ledger suffix to fasten underneath ledges, hedge dogs. Sufism, the way of mysticism. Early in the history of Islam, there emerged groups who were not satisfied with the outward observance and rituals of religion. They wanted instead a religion of inner experience and asceticism that renounced the luxuries of the world and devoted itself purely to the obedience of gods rather than to creation itself. By the 8th century, these groups became known as the Sufis. In French, Sufi means enough. Sufis, probably from the Essene garments of wool, suf in Arabic, that they wore. These Tao groups of ascetics were similar to the monks who appeared early in the history of Christianity. Sufism evolved through 3 phases. Asceticism, the rejection of worldliness; ecstasy, the desire for communion with a Moho God; and the cognitive knowing by which the believers sought a high knowledge than that granted to the average Muslim. Because Sufism developed largely within the Sunnite branch of Islam, it helped balance the expansion of the Shiite movement that also had high regard for such exceptional divine knowledge. Where the information was transferred was during the Christian Crusades and St. Bernard and the Templars. Sufism remained a parallel development within Sunna until the 11th century, when the theologian Al-Ghazali made a formal attempt to merge the doctrines of mysticism with the orthodox consensus, the community that was the Sunnah. He told the other theologians that unless they created a science of the heart for all believers, the doctrines of Islam would be nothing more than outward formalities devoid of any inner life or meaning. Pierre in French. On this rock I shall build my church. Well, the word rock in French is pierre. And the key word in English they use is a pier. Mm-hmm. And pierre, as the word Pierre is basically the second pier, the second version of mankind. And it's all about the story of DNA, which is enough is enough, Enoch. So, let them debate all of those things in public. But Alan Watts told me that they had paid for his trip.
He didn't explain to you?
He didn't tell me any detail, just when I asked him how he could afford to go to India, he said the Sufis paid.
So he must be doing something for them.
Obviously, the Sufis now own iPower, because it was sold by Americans to a Hindu company. And since they're the only ones who could do the transfer from my address to Alan Watts, his iPower, nobody else could do that. then they're linked. In any event, I got to go feed my animals at the barn.
All right, Glenn.
Okay.
Okay, I'll call you, I guess, tomorrow or something.
Okay.
All right, bye.